They gave my brother everything: the house, the accounts, the future. They expected me to fix his mistakes like always. But this time, I didn't lift a finger. I let them drown in the choices they made, quietly, precisely, without anger. Justice doesn't always arrive in flames. Sometimes it's silence. They said my brother deserved it. The house, the accounts, the future. That sentence was the blade. The will was the twist. I watched them sign it with shaking hands and dry eyes. No hesitation, no apology, not even a glance in my direction. I nodded. That was my last word at the table. A month later, my phone lit up. "Mom, the mortgage is due." I stared at the screen and let the silence bloom between us like a bruise. Then I replied, "I don't live there." I wasn't always this cold, but warmth has a price, and I had already paid. Growing up, I was the glue, the fixer, the keeper of peace. I sacrificed birthdays, jobs, cities, just to stay close, just to be useful. My brother drifted in and out like a seasonal wind, burned bridges, then walked back over the ash. Always forgiven, always excused. "Boys make mistakes," Mom would whisper. "Be patient," Dad would say. They never asked me to be strong. They just expected it. First crack came when Dad got sick. I was the one in the hospital room, organizing medications, printing legal documents, translating between doctors and denial. My brother showed up once, brought fast food, and left before the shift ended. Still, at the will reading, he got the house, the bank accounts, and the retirement fund. Me? They handed me a photo album. "You don't need much," Mom said. "You're stable." He's not. Like, my discipline was a punishment. Like my silence meant consent. So I did what they didn't expect. Nothing. No fight. No plea. No guilt. I let them build their new empire of fairness. Let them set the crown on his head. And then Teddy knew how my brother operated. He couldn't fold water, let alone manage a mortgage. Late payments, bad deals, high interest loans from people who don't send reminders. They send warnings. I waited for the house to start leaking, and it did. 3 weeks after the will, he called. "Hey, just checking. Did Dad leave you any backup funds?" I let him talk. Let him circle the drain. "The bills are stacked, man. Like, I'm trying. But it's harder than I thought. Mom's freaking out. If you could just spot me." I ended the call mid-sentence. No words, no noise. Just click. The underestimated one thing. I don't burn bridges. I let them rot. So when the bank reached out, because my name was still on the cosign from 5 years ago, I didn't panic. I responded with a request to remove myself entirely. Sent copies of the will, proof I own nothing, no equity, no keys, no stake. Washed my hands legally and clean. Then I started digging. The deed transfer was sloppy, still had clauses Dad never updated. Turns out my brother couldn't refinance without my signature. I got offers, calls, and desperate emails. They begged, pleaded, said they didn't realize it would affect me. But it didn't. It affected them. I just watched. The final act came quietly. They listed the house. Couldn't afford the taxes or the repairs, or the silence from the son they once called strong. Mom texted again. "We're losing it. Can you help?" Just a loan. Just until things stabilize. This time I didn't reply. I screenshotted it, saved it, and labeled the folder in Heartbreakingstories. House sold last week at a loss. Mom moved into a rental. My brother vanished again somewhere in another state, chasing another lie. I visited the old place once before the bank took it, parked across the street, didn't go inside. The porch light was still broken, the blinds uneven, the garden overgrown, but the air felt clean. Don't feel sorry. Not for the house. Not for them. They gave him everything, and I gave them what they left me with, nothing. But I did it with precision. No anger, no scenes, just a locked vault where their lifeline used to be justice doesn't always arrive in flames. Sometimes it walks in quietly, in withheld help, in strategic silence, in letting people feel the weight of their own choices. They wanted him to have the future. Now they can live in it days after we're calm. No calls, no texts. The quiet was not empty. It was earned. My life resumed, steady and uninterrupted. I had built it brick by brick while they gambled theirs on whims and wishes. My job, my apartment, my circle of people who knew me not as a placeholder but as a person. These were my emperor. I passed by the house again a month later. New owners had moved in. The porch light was fixed, the garden trimmed, and laughter spilled from the open windows. It didn't sting. It felt like closing a book whose ending I already knew. Sent a message once more. It was not about the house or money. It was a simple sentence. I miss you. I read it, felt its weight, and archived it. No reply. Some silences are not anger. They're boundaries. I learned that patience is not an infinite resource. It is a choice. And I chose to spend it elsewhere. Heard through a cousin that my brother had landed in trouble again. Something about a failed venture, unpaid debts, a cycle that never broke. I didn't ask for details. I already knew the story is for me. I thrived. Not out of spite, but out of clarity. The years of being the fixer had taught me skills they never valued. Resilience, strategy, control. I didn't need a house to feel secure. I didn't need a family name to feel worthy. The legacy they crafted for my brother was built on hopes and denial. Mine was built on actions. Every time they reached out, seeking a bailout, they unknowingly sharpened my resolve. I wasn't their safety net. I was the quiet witness to their choice one evening, standing by my window, watching the city pulse with life. I realized something. The greatest justice is not in retaliation. It is indifference. They craved my involvement, my fixing, my presence. Denying them that was the loudest statement I could ever make. In the end, I didn't lose a family. I freed myself from a role they had scripted for me. They wanted him to have the future. Now they can live in it and I will live in mine.